Up and Adams from my kitchen this morning. Happy Friday, guys. The Eagles took control of the NFC East. Almost didn't. It was a weird Jalen game. We're going to get into it. Kevin Durant probably lamenting another Commanders loss this morning. Saquon doing something we've never seen at the running back spot. We've got to get into it here. And we will have on the show two amazing guests. Donte Whitner. He's here. He loves to give takes. We got to get the Quinyon Mitchell. There's comps to Darrelle Revis flying out there this morning. Earl Campbell saying things that I can't wait to hear Donte Mitchell. Donte Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, Donte Whitner, hang out and talk about. We've got a little Terry McLaurin to get to, who was completely shut down last night. We got some Niners. We're going to bat around some of these playoff teams and whether or not they are true contenders with Donte Whitner. So I'm excited about that. We also have Rhamondre Stevenson, who is so fun and living his best life and about to make history and work his way into the top 10 rushers of Patriots all-time rare airage. So I can't wait for that. And you're going to want to hear what he has to say about Drake Maye. Lots to get into. Welcome this morning, guys. Hopefully you're hanging out on FanDuel Sportsbook. Hammer and I am sure we'll have some fun, some K-makers. I don't know that we're not doing like one of the boxing parlays though, right, Hammy? Because I don't know if I have the stomach for it.
We are not. We're staying out of that world, but we got hunches today. I'm going to throw all sorts of things at you that, you got to stay on your toes today.
When the Commanders lost last night, I only thought one thing.
Kevin Durant. What's Kevin Durant thinking right now? Yeah.
Not even what he's thinking, but I don't want to put this out there, but I gotta say, the last time we got to talk to him, he didn't wear his Up and Adams hat. Okay. Every time we've talked to him, he's worn this cute hat. And then last time, and I didn't bring it up because I don't want to throw any bad juju on it, but he wore a different hat. And since then, we're not out on the court. The Commanders have lost 2. His picks weren't where they used to be. I'm just saying, Kevin needs back on Up and Adams, and Kevin needs the Kevin Up and Adams hat.
We got to get the hat going again. That's it.
I know. I feel like I worked Kevin Durant into our conversation 3 seconds in.
5 seconds
after we had this big game. Listen, Magic Johnson can't be happy this morning either. Commanders fans, we'll quell their fears. Thanks, Hammy. We'll get to some of those hunches and all the fun. We have a lot of great stuff going on FanDuel Sportsbook this weekend. But Commanders, Eagles, Saquon, they ran away with the game, literally, and possibly the NFC East, honestly, in the fourth quarter to move to 8-2 on the year. Who said they were a Super Bowl bound team in August? We did. We were there for camp. We saw it sort of coming together. Sirianni, of course, gets a bunch of grief from people. Cut him some slack here. This was awesome. And Jalen Hurts also gets a little ire from the fans time and time again. Maybe deserved it last night. How are you guys feeling about him, Philly fans, this morning? You guys can tweet us at Up and Adams Show. Not the A game from Jalen Hurts, okay? But Saquon, that's why you bring him in. That's why you take him away from the vested John Mara and Joe Shane on Hard Knocks to do this. 198 total yards, 133 of those, by the way, in the second half. 2 touchdowns scored, both in the fourth quarter. So Saquon, he's what you want on your team in every way, in a teammate way, in a leader way, in a production way. He jumped right in. He didn't have to be asked. He didn't have to whatever. He gets right in there and starts racking up yards, bringing up this entire team to another stratosphere this year. And I really don't want to hear another word about how the running position doesn't matter, everybody. Number 26 has resurrected this franchise that, collapsed really down the stretch last year. And I know it isn't, lost on Eagles fans who were chanting, "Thank you, Giants," after the game, which was quite funny to see. And if you take a look just by the numbers, the sheer greatness of this, he leads the NFL in rushing, okay? He's on pace for just under 2,000. I hope he gets that 2,000. It'd be exciting because I think I predicted that 9 guys would get 2,000 yards this year. But we do have a bit of a running back renaissance, which is fun to watch. He leads in total yards, 5.8 yards per carry, NFL season single record. He's averaging just under 74 yards a game in the second half alone. That's the highest clip in the last 30 years. He is truly putting together, no hyperbole, one of the greatest in 2024, pass happy, blah, 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 blah. One of the greatest running back seasons that we have ever seen. He's standing out when we have Derrick Henry doing what he is his 8th year. That is special. And the Eagles, by the way, if you look at the standings here, they are now, they went from -240 to win the division before this game. They are now minus 600, I'm told, over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Now they've got a 2-game lead in the loss column on Washington, which is awesome. And now they're a half game back of Detroit for the 1 seed. They're vying for that 1 seed in the NFC overall. They're plus 400 to go to the Super Bowl. Only the Lions are getting better odds in the conference right now. Commanders, they have a 2-game lead for wild card spot, which is nice. And they are heavy favorites, of course, to make the playoffs, as of course they will, at minus 550. That's if you're having fun, and you should, on the best sports book ever, and the only good one that exists, in my opinion, FanDuel. So go check that out. This for Washington fans, I know a lot of Washington fans, man, this had to hurt, right? This stings because you make the moves. You are riding high, flying high. They held the Eagles to 6 points through 3 quarters. You think it's like, okay, we're doing our thing. And then the dam broke. They carried the lead into the 4th quarter, and then poof, it was gone. 4th down decision. We have Donte Whitner. I'm not going to talk about it. He'll break it down. He knows better than I. But I did, the Eagles deserve some love here. Big missed opportunity from the Commanders as the game unfolded. Let's look at week 11, shall we? Hammy, jump on in here with me. Biggest game of the regular season. I can't wait. This is the bell of the scheduled ball. And this is one that I'm not worried. One of the only games that I'm not worried will be a great game. And that has a lot to do with the quarterbacks. There's a lot to do with the decision makers, all that. This is going to live up to this. Is Wicked going to be as good as we think it is? I hope so. Is Gladiator 2 going to be as good and fit the bill? I hope so. I was driving down Sunset last night. They literally built a Coliseum as a promo for Gladiator 2. And I'm like, all right.
Are you serious?
Gladiator 1's pretty good. I don't know. I know we're looking at the slate here. I should probably get to some of this. No, we should talk about Gladiator. Let's slip off this for just a second. Which movie's gonna? I've never seen Wicked. I know it's insane. I've never seen the musical. I'm driving down Sunset. It's literally like I looked up for 1 second off my phone and I was like, "Are we doing this? Like, where's Confucius? Everything is tricked out." I felt like I was in Vegas. Are we excited about Gladiator 2?
Not super. I'll see it. I'm not like I wasn't a huge Gladiator person. I wasn't Ralph Cifaretto out there quoting the movie every 5 seconds, but I liked it. I'll see it. Yeah.
Oh, I loved Gladiator. You didn't like the original, so your opinion doesn't.
It was good. It was good. I just wasn't obsessed. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't know which is going to be great, but we're going to probably talk about it during the break. So let's get back to the slate. Let's pop that bad boy up. I'll do a better job here. Sorry, guys. I got carried away. The Chiefs, they're undefeated. I wanted to get to this because they are 2.5-point underdogs at the 8-2 Bills. Okay. Amari Cooper, he said he's going to play this weekend, which is great. After, he missed these 2 games with a wrist injury. This is a big game, big boost, because that would be his first game against Kansas City since back in 2017 when he was a Raider. They were division rival. And by the way, he had 210 yards and 2 touchdowns in that one. So I had to get that out there. Bengals Chargers, they cap it off. We're dabbling with putting a parlay together for this one. Let me know what you guys think on that. And then Packers Bears, a new chapter-ish. Caleb Williams, Jordan Love to see that. I don't know. I asked Jordan, by the way, back when we were at training camp, we were reminiscing about this because all of this like Xavier McKinney versus DJ Moore stuff has been bubbling up and percolating. And, we talked to DJ Moore, I believe in May, and then we were there for training camp where I got to sit down and meet Caleb. But before that, we went and hung out in Green Bay, and I asked Jordan about rivalries. Like, this is your team, your whatever, this division. Is it the Lions? Who do you like playing the most? And here's what he said.
I think the Bears is a great game. NFC, NFC North rival game. And like you said, that the history goes back with that rivalry, and just, we always put up the wins, like going all the way back to from the rivalry first started. So it's definitely a lot of history, and like, it's one of those games you gotta wake up and get ready for, because it's not an easy game. So
it's not really a rivalry though of late there, Jordan.
Hey, you said it, not me.
What does Caleb Williams have to do to make it a rivalry? I see there's similarities between you two, the way you came in, all of it.
No, I think, he's a phenomenal playmaker. I love the way he plays. So I think him, just be himself. It's his rookie year. There's going to be a lot of growing he's got to do. But just be himself and take it one day at a time.
Gosh, that was so much fun. Green Bay is just a magical place. I love this rivalry. I want there to be juice. I got skewered by Bears fans for saying it's not really a rivalry, but you can't tell me it hasn't been so lopsided over the past 5 years. Take a look. LaFleur has never lost to the Bears. Can this be the week? Matt Forte said so yesterday. LaFleur somehow gets to walk around doing those hospital commercials in the local Green Bay area, boasting a perfect 10-0 record against Chicago. The Packers have won by an average of almost 2 touchdowns per game over that span. It has been just utter dominance. Packers win on Sunday. Then the 11-game win streak is the longest in the 103-year history of the series. That can't happen. Okay. I am trying to think, Cami, before we get into the defense here, I am trying to think we talked about this like off cam. I think we talked about on cam a little bit. Like, I don't know if I'm juiced if the Bears win. And I don't know what that is. I can't get up for it. Like, I'm not like, if the Bears dominate them, like an Eagles Cowboys week 10 thing, I still don't know if I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I will be. Not good.
It's gotta, I get it because of what's going on right now, but in the aftermath, that like you're not going to be able to get up for that. The emotions that if they dominate this game and find a way to win, they're back in the playoff hunt. They get the good vibes going. You know, you get that spark. You're still not on board.
I just don't. It's interesting. I'll report back on how I feel. I mean, I'm sure I'll be excited, but I don't know if it's going to change how I look at the team. Is it going, could a dominant win over Green Bay change the way that, you know, what does a win like that do to this Bears team that, you know, a lot of, you know, there's so much, you know, is it the coach? Is it the whatever, but is it a 1 week spark with I think it would be tough for me to buy into Thomas, to the change, to the, you know, if they lean on the run game I would have to see it for more than one game. It doesn't matter that it's the Packers to me. It doesn't.
Yeah. And I get that. And hearing, you know, some of what Albert Breer was saying last night too is concerning because it sounds like there's, you know, tension in the locker room there. But you do wonder sometimes when there's tension, that tension builds up when you're losing. And if you can find a way to get it together and get a win like this, winning can solve a lot of issues. So maybe this is what they need to get going again.
I don't think 10-0 is a staggering statistic in anything, but in a divisional matchup that can usually, like, that is unbelievable and frankly sad.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
I didn't know that existed until you told me that. So that's sort of wild. You know, you got to give the Packers the edge, of course, with the history, the 10-0 and all of that. Bears defense has been really good. And Jordan Love is sort of giving opportunities for turnovers. It's true. Chicago, if you take a look at this, they're allowing just 190 yards per game in the air, right? They've given up the fewest passing touchdowns in the league, just 6 to 9 games, second lowest passer rating against of any team in the league right now. Bears offense might be messy and a hot mess and all that. They might lean on the run game like Matt Forte, a legend, told them to do yesterday, and I hope that they do, because when Swift has a big game, they look good. Chicago will have a legit chance here because Jordan is doing some sort of 50 Shades of Josh Allen-y stuff sometimes, which as somebody who would like to see this streak end, I hope he continues in this first of 2 bouts between the two. Let's see, Packers 5.5-point favorites I see here. 5.5-point favorites. I think this game will be more competitive than most people are giving it credit for. What does it mean if they win? I'd love to hear from Chicago fans this morning. You can tweet at Up and Adam Show. Okay, we want to dive deeper into these games. We have hunch time and enter Matthew Hamilton.
All right,
what do you got?
Let's start with Ravens Steelers here. One of the other biggest games of the weekend. Lamar's line for passing yards is set at 237.5. Does he go over? Does the Steelers defense slow him down?
Oh, come on. How many times in 11 weeks have I gone under on something? It's not going to happen. He's, I don't know. Until I see someone really stop him, I can't do it. Lamar's averaging over 300 yards a game in his last 6. Steelers, they're tough, but they're kind of generous through the air. So I'm going to hammer the over here. Over.
All right, let's go to Chiefs Bills, that late afternoon window. Bring up the full screen. First touchdown scorer in this one.
Oh, man. Chiefs Bills. Donte Whitner's coming on. He might say that the Bills are playing the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. And so because of that, and in honor of him, I will say Travis Kelce. Okay. I think he will be, he'll get this done. I just think first touchdown. I always say tone setter. I'm like so bored of myself saying that, but Travis has scored 6 touchdowns in his last 6 against Buffalo. He does it. I think he does it first. And don't forget Matt Milano, Mr. Milano Cookie, out for this game.
Yeah, and he's been big in that matchup in the past, so that's definitely something to watch there. And then for Sunday night, Bengals Chargers. Joe Burrow's line for passing yards set at 257.5 for this game. What's your hunch? Does he go over? Does this number 1 Chargers defense keep him in check?
Is T back? What's T's story?
He's practicing. He looked good running up that hill at practice the other. I don't know if you saw that breakdown. Someone analyzed the way he runs up the hill to the practice field and how indicative that is of him playing when he's dealing with an injury.
Well, he was approaching the hill. It was like the pre-hill run. He was like getting he was doing high knees. I saw that in the rain. He's running sprints. He's running sprints to the sideline while Orlando Brown just watches the O-line drills. I love that. They don't have their helmets on as the rest of the team goes through practice, says Kelsey Conway, our friend. That was 20 minutes ago. That's this morning.
What to make of it? Oh.
He's running on the side of the field with the Bengals head trainer, Orlando standing watching the Bengals O-line. I mean, if things are trending positive, and I'll smash the over. And if he doesn't play, I think I'd still smash the over because the Chargers defense, Minter, king of the world, belle of the ball, as far as head coach candidacy is going. Not really, but maybe, who knows? They're good, but they kind of haven't faced a Burrow-esque sort of caliber quarterback. So I think he has a big night. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, they've played very, very well, but they've played some Bryce Young games and some Spencer Rattler games in there too. So I think we see Burrow keep it going. He is locked in right now.
Over under on the number of times I've used the stove in this kitchen.
I'm going to go with 0.
0. Can I tell you the answer is 0? It's never been turned on.
I'm just impressed you have your giant microphone working for today.
Stacey James was making fun of me for that. Patriots, near and dear to our hearts. We have Rhamondre Stevenson on the soap show. We're excited. You should come up with some this hunch time. We should do some fun ones. But we should do some just random,
sprinkle some in.
Just zany ones, shall we, on a Friday? All right. Thank you so much, Hammy. We'll be back. There's some hunch time for you. More fun on FanDuel Sportsbook. Rhamondre Stevenson is next. And by him, I mean Donte Whitner. Actually, no, it is Rhamondre next. Great.
Yeah. Are you going to turn on the stove during the break?
No, because for what reason? Because then I have to say I've only turned on the stove once. I'm at this point, I'm Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
I got a perfect record against my stove. If I turn it on, then I cough one up. I cough one up to being domestic. No, thank you. Speaking of Chiefs Bills and Harrison Butker,
Harrison Butker's out.
What does that game come down? I'm excited to hear Whitner's thoughts on that, what that comes down to.
Yeah. That honestly might be a significant factor. He's on IR right now, so.
It's up totally. I'm totally down to do whichever.
If we have him, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So we'll still do K-Makers into Whitner? Okay. Hamilton, nobody wants to play this Patriots team. Yeah. I can't believe you didn't like Gladiator. Did you like 300?
No, I didn't say I didn't like. I liked it. Yeah, I liked 300. I'm just not. I wasn't like. I remember it just took everything by storm, and I wasn't as into it as everybody else.
What do you mean? It was like Joaquin Phoenix was like the most badass villain of that decade. I feel like, is that an over exaggeration? Yeah. Maybe he was a bad guy.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
It was so sad. It was like the saddest movie.
Yeah.
What year did Gladiator come out?
Wasn't it like 2000? Around there, right? Let's see. Yeah, 2000.
I don't like sequels, man.
You and Kevin Durant.
Hocus Pocus.
Blue Streak 2.
Yeah, Blue Streak 2.
Especially these ones, that are like 20 years later.
I don't know Blue Streak 1.
Oh, man. You got to watch Blue Streak. Just for KD alone.
No, clearly I have to watch like Coming to America. I have to watch a lot of, I mean, we don't have to get into that. Will you go see Wicked or no? Will Kelly want to see that? No?
I don't know. I'm talking about it.
Which one's Kicking and Screaming? The Daniel Jones one?
Yeah.
No. What's Anne Hathaway in these days? Can you cue me when I'm on? Welcome back to the Up and Adam Show. Time for some K-makers. I know this sounds crazy, but I literally know who's going to score touchdowns. It's a hunch. I do really well at it. I look at all the splits. Let's do this. This is who will score in Week 11. First, Breece Hall. Let's do it. Now, he hasn't scored. He's got a little bit of drought going on here. He hasn't scored in 3 weeks, everybody, but I think it changes. He's got the Colts. They're 29th against the run, and I think he hits pay dirt. Let's do it. I also think Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is scoring a lot. No drought to be had there or seen. He has scored in 7 straight. We are still somehow getting plus odds on him against the Jags pass defense, which I don't quite understand, but I like it. Yes, please. And finally, give me Josh Allen, Bills, Chiefs. We have to pick one from this game. And there's receiver injuries on the Bills side. One of the things people are worried about in this matchup, he's been using his legs a little bit more again. He scored last week. He scored twice against the Chiefs in that playoff game last year when Jason Kelce was wasted. So I think that we see him punch in another one on the ground. Maybe he hurdles. Maybe he tries to one-up Saquon Barkley and do like a triple Salchow in the air over somebody into the end zone. That's just for style points. But those 3 guys will score touchdowns. Okay, let's do this. We've got Rhamondre Stevenson coming up on the show. Very excited about that. Nobody wants to play the Patriots. Tough out there. But we've got huge games. I think Week 11 is my favorite slate. So no better person to break it down than one of my favorite people. He always makes me smarter. He always challenges the way that I'm thinking. And I can't believe I've gone 11 weeks without talking to Donte Whitner. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. And it's the perfect time. I think we have a big game coming up this weekend between the Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals.
The shade out of you. Can you take it easy on me, please?
No, not really. But I can say Joe Burrow is having a phenomenal year. The defense is letting them down. But Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are phenomenal together.
I have a question. Do you think the defense just doesn't have obviously getting rid of the readers and whatever they've got, like Hendrickson, getting rid of Bates, all that. What is it with the defense? Is it fixable? Because Coach Lou is a good coach.
All the issues that they're having on defense are fixable, just like the 49ers issue are fixable. There are certain things you have to do to play championship defense, and it all starts with the line of scrimmage, controlling the line of scrimmage, run downs. And if you can stop the run with light boxes, it helps your defensive backs. So when you see the 49ers go to so many consistent NFC championships, because they have a formula for success. And what they're not doing there, they're not stopping the run. They're not taking the ball away. They're 29th in the NFL on 3rd down, and that's situational football. So it all plays into their losing and the trickle-down effect of affecting the great year that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is having.
It is kind of, it's hard. You have an MVP level quarterback. You have the by the numbers best wide receiver. You've got some studs, yet the record is what it is. It's not a good look.
No, and it shows that they don't have continuity on the defensive side of the ball. And a lot of it is, look at what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing right now. They have a bunch of football junkies that find ways to win games. They're locked in. They get everybody's best shot each and every week, and they just keep finding ways to win games. I can almost guarantee you that on the defensive side of the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals, you have a bunch of guys in discord. And whenever you don't play on the defensive side of the ball, well, it's a lot of discord. It's a miscommunication. Guys aren't playing together, and then ultimately you lose.
I'm trying to understand how this happened because this was a Super Bowl caliber defense. So to me, I would think it's the missing pieces. It's losing to me, like even from the standpoint you're talking about, losing Bates is a huge part of that.
Absolutely. The individual players that make that defense run. And when you lose a safety of that caliber, who's pretty much the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, he's a communicator.
Guys lined up with so many motions and shifts on the offense side of the ball right now in the NFL, you need somebody back there and just have one voice. So when you lose that, it's critical to a defense. But, you know, it's still a long season. They can still score points. If they get ahead of teams and they can generate a pass rush, because Trey Henderson right now, I think he's leading the NFL in sacks, then they have a chance of making the playoffs, you know, as a wild card team.
We're spending too much time on the Bengals defense when, you know, the number one scoring defense in the NFL is who?
Chargers.
The Chargers. Now that you said a lot of things about Harbaugh and the Chargers. Did you see that coming though? Because 13.1 points a game, the fewest for a first-year head coach since you were with Coach Harbaugh on the Niners. Did you see that coming with this Minter character, who you know, of course, from college?
Coach Harbaugh has a formula.
Oh.
His formula is to run the ball, right? He feels like he can run into any front. Is to be strategic with the quarterback and manage the risk of him turning the football over. Is get a bunch of guys that are good with getting yards after the catch. And then on the defensive side of the ball is where he really makes his mark. He understands the details behind playing championship defense, and it starts in the trenches. It starts being able to affect the run game with light boxes. And once you can do that, you disguise. And they have you know, a bunch of different techniques that they teach the safeties over there, where you can get quarterbacks off of their first and second read based on not turning your shoulders, based on lateral and vertical depth, and being able to manipulate quarterbacks. And they work on those things each and every day until you, as a player, you pretty much get sick of it. There's a formula. He has guys that can rush the passer. He understands the quarterback position and where they want to go with the football. And when you have 11 guys on defense that understands that, and you're really good in situational football, like red zone, third down, you know, change of momentum. When the offense turns the ball over, you get it right back or hold teams to field goals. You give yourself a chance to win games. And then he's really big on the special teams part of it. A lot of teams only think about offense and defense. Coach Harbaugh thinks about all three phases. And when you have those dynamics, you can win any game.
I think what's interesting, the way he sort of manages his quarterbacks is interesting too, to me. Like you think back to Alex Smith, everyone wrote him off and then he got his hands on him and it just was a different cat. He sort of just is able to, it's what he's doing right now with Herbert. And you're seeing these little bits and pieces of them on the sideline and all of that. Harbaugh's got to be in the running for coach of the year. I'm looking at the sportsbook odds right now. It's plus 600, third best odds.
I think he's definitely in a driver's seat, or, you know, one of the top guys that deserves to be, you know, head coach of the year. And when you look at his success and his track record, he does this everywhere he goes. He doesn't complicate the game. He simplifies it, but he holds everybody in that building accountable, from the front office to the players and the coaches. He doesn't sweep anything under the rug, which is why coming into the season, I felt like he would have that team in the AFC Championship just based on those intangibles, not even knowing who was going to play wide receiver, just knowing that he's going to hold everybody accountable and he's going to get every inch of talent out of every player on that roster. And then with the affirmations, you hear him call Justin Herbert the greatest quarterback and the toughest quarterback to ever roam the planet Earth. He just reaffirms positivity within the building, and it comes out on Sundays for his teams.
So what's the most important thing? Because everything you're saying is very... it's obvious, not obvious, but it's, of course, a coach should hold people accountable. A coach should simplify things. What is like the special thing about him? Or what is the, you know, there's got to be like this magic that I still don't understand, where, you know, is it just the perfect balance of giving positive affirmations and holding people accountable? Because that is a hard thing to do. I find that hard to do.
Well, the number one thing with Coach Harbaugh, and when you look at the successful coaches, Bill Belichick, they tell you directly how it is to your face, whether you like them or you don't.
Amen.
And a lot of times it's their way or the highway. So think about dealing with a quarterback that just was just paid $300 million.
Okay.
Most coaches that lack experience, that lack communication skills, and lack the ability to hold guys accountable, they might cower away from that quarterback when he's making mistakes. Or they might allow certain guys that are stars on the team to just do what they want to do. Waltz into meetings at any time they want to. Sleep in meetings, not practice. Coach Harbaugh doesn't allow any of that within the building, which is why you hear so many people say, in the front office that they don't like him and all of those things, is because he's going to tell you directly how it is to your face, no matter your status or stature. And that's the way you get the best out of everybody involved.
But then he somehow still can throw an attaboy at you, which is something we never really heard Bill do.
Yeah, he'll still throw an attaboy at you. He'll still give you praise, but he'll also tell you when you're wrong, and he'll give you an ultimatum. Hey, you're going to do things our way, or you're out of here the next day. And a lot of guys, they choose to stay because he has a winning combination and culture within the organizations that he coached for.
I love that. So do you feel strongly, and you said this in the offseason, you came on the show week 1, AFC Championship, they're sitting there at 6-3, big Sunday night game. Do you still think that this team will be in the AFC Championship game?
Absolutely. Did you watch that first game between Kansas City and the Chargers?
I did. Yeah.
What happened late? Yes. What happened late in that game?
I don't know. Remind me.
It was a 3rd and 16, I believe.
Go on.
And, I mean, fourth and 16. 4th and 16, and Patrick Mahomes was running around, and they called a pass interference on the Los Angeles Chargers and bailed out Kansas City. They had them right where they wanted them. And yes, I still believe they're going to be in the AFC Championship. Think about it. With his new offensive and defensive philosophy, he's only accumulated half a season of the data that it takes to go out there and really know what a defense is going to do and how they're going to attack you, and how an offense really wants to play against your defense. Once great coaches like Harbaugh accumulates all of that information, which is another reason why Kyle Shanahan struggles in the first half of the season, and then he gets hot, is because there's a lot of data that he can sort through to know exactly on what down, what distance, and where to attack the weaknesses of the defense and offense. So the great coaches get stronger through the middle of the season because they know how to thumb through that data with a fine-tuned comb. They know how to see how they're attacking them and make adjustments. That's why I believe he'll be in an AFC Championship. It's
very smart. You think what do you think how do you think it goes on Sunday night? They get the win?
I think they get the win. When you look at what their defense is doing, the pass rush, they'll find a way to take Jamar Chase out of the game. They won't be arrogant and just leave him one-on-one. They'll put a safety over the top. They'll be extremely physical with them. If anybody else is going to beat him, Gesicki or any of those guys, then so be it. But it won't be Jamar Chase. So I think they'll squeak out with another victory on Sunday.
And then the Bengals are done?
The Bengals are pretty much done. What would that put them? 4-7, I believe.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the. I don't know if we have the. Do we have the playoff picture? Yeah. What do you think? Because is it a wrap on them?
It'll be a wrap on them, and then that'll put the Chargers at 7-3. They did lose to the Baltimore Ravens, but we still have a lot of football to go. And, they haven't really unleashed Justin Herbert as well. Don't believe that it'll come games this season where they'll strictly rely on Justin Herbert to carry that football team. So I think the Los Angeles Chargers are right where they want to be right now at midseason.
I mean, if Denver loses to Atlanta, they're a game back of a playoff spot. So I don't know if I'll be ready to wrap them, but I do think, the playoff picture is kind of set, as we just saw. If you look at the AFC right now, because you're good at calling your shot, and you're not really wrong ever. So I want to get this out there. I want your thoughts on this. Because I have a hard time not believing in teams. To me, like, everybody's a contender. I have a couple teams I want to get your thoughts on. Sure, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be in meaningful games down the stretch. But are they contenders? When you look at the Texans, is that a confusing team to you, or is that a team that you believe in?
Well, they can't run the football at this point, and that's why C.J. Stroud was so good. They lost Stephon Diggs. They have other injuries to his offensive weapons, and they can't protect. Like, that's not something that you can just fix mid-season. It's the individual players in that room and the personnel that's costing them on the offensive side of the ball, and then it trickles down into the defense. Yes, they have talented players on their defense. They have injuries. Will Anderson is out. So I think that it's going to be tough for the Texans this year. They're not sneaking up on anybody. When you start to win and win consistently and you're constantly in the headlines, you're going to get everybody's best shot. And when you're nicked up, it makes it even that more difficult.
What's your temperature on the Steelers? Huge game, the Patrick
Love
Queen
them.
revenge game this week. They could go all the way.
They're legit. They're legit. And have you seen Russell Wilson? He looks like the Russell Wilson that broke my heart in the NFC Championship in 2 years, right? The guy who's scrambling around, who's very consistent, making great decisions. He's accurate, and the deep ball. That's one thing that's always made Russell Wilson special, is the way that the arch comes down into the receiver's breadbasket. It's just phenomenal. He's not turning the football over. They're running it. Their defense is top 10. I truly believe in the Steelers. And once you get in Pittsburgh in the playoffs and those fans are going crazy, anything can happen.
And just such credit to Tomlin. If we're talking coach of the year or whatever, like even just what Russell Wilson was last year, the year before, to see, just to see Tomlin manage those two well. Like, I don't think that they are where they are without both quarterbacks, without Little Bit of Fields, now Russell Wilson. They are a huge threat down the way. I love that you're in on them. In the NFC, which is, your bread and butter here, of course, Bay Area. What about the Packers? Are they legit? How legit are they?
I'm still a little iffy on the Packers. They have a new defensive coordinator. They give up a lot of big plays, but a lot of times they truly just lean on the quarterback to really get them out of trouble. And last year, you think about what the Green Bay Packers did, how they went on a run and got hot during the middle of the season and really catapulted themselves and should have probably beat the 49ers in the playoffs. I don't really see them doing that this year. I think that Jordan Love is dealing with a bunch of injuries. And, this is the time around Thanksgiving where you have to have guys healthy. They have to be playing their best. You have to have continuity on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not truly bought in on the Green Bay Packers.
This Eagles team, this Niners team isn't going to lose the division of the Cardinals, are they?
It's possible. When you have a wild card like Kyler Murray at the quarterback position and James Conner, who I feel like is one of the most underrated running backs in the history of the National Football League, and everything that he had to endure and the way that he consistently runs the ball, the screen game, catching it out of the backfield, he looks like he's getting stronger, almost like a miniature version of how Derrick Henry is looking. So with those two guys in tandem and their defense, they know how to attack the 49ers. A lot of the 4-week blitzes, the 49ers can't really figure it out and protect Brock Purdy. So I think that it is possible.
Is that the biggest problem with the Niners? Because we can say all that good stuff. The Cardinals could be a great team, but the Niners should still dominate them with the talent that they have, the pedigree, been there, done that experience. So what is the big glaring issue with this Niner squad?
Well, quietly, the 49ers have been going through a rebuild on defense while keeping championship aspirations. Think about all the different guys that they lost, even Drake Greenlaw being out, Talanoa Hufanga is out. You had Charvarius Ward, who hasn't really played his best. And they've replaced these guys with guys like Malik Mustafa. I don't know if you've watched him, but he flies off the screen. He reminds me of myself, like a younger version of myself with the way that he plays. You have Renardo Green, who I saw is rated as the top 2 corner in the National Football League right now. You have Diamador Lenore, who just got paid. He plays the nickel and the outside. They just paid him 5 years, $95 million because of his consistent ability to play all different positions, the run game. He's an up-and-coming corner. Right now, he's a top 5 corner in the National Football League. But they did that all under the noses of people that didn't even recognize. Where's the Richard Shermans? Where's the Jimmy Wards and all of these different guys that were mainstays? So they have to go through this transition, implementing young guys. They'll continue to get better and better. There's other teams around the league, when they go through a rebuild, it's about a decade rebuild, right? The 49ers churn these players in, they pick them at the right times, implement them at the right time, and they have championship culture.
It's well said and super well reasoned. Those young DBs, the ones you're talking about, they made big plays against the Seahawks round 1. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for round 2. We're going to take a short break here. I want to keep you through the break because I got to ask you about what's going on, what happened last night. Is that okay? Did you watch last night?
What? I didn't watch the full game. I fell asleep.
Okay, so there's 8 minutes. Do we have this, Richard? The play? Richard, do we have it? Sorry, they're going to grab it.
Thought you were going to ask about Deebo Samuel almost fighting.
We were gonna, and then we start. Okay, so let's get to this first. 8 minutes left, field goal range, down 2. DQ goes for it. They fall short, and it's all downhill from there. Do we like Quinn being aggressive on the road?
No, you have to take the field goal there. I don't know if I really agree with this play call. And then your defense, well, think about it. Look, they only have 12 points, the Philadelphia Eagles. So at this point right here is where you take what you can get and then you kick the football and you let your defense play. They've already proven that they can stop the Philadelphia Eagles. You really didn't give them a chance with that right there. That reminds me of the call last year in the playoffs by Dan Campbell versus the 49ers. You remember he went for it late? And it cost him the game.
Yeah, it's a total momentum changer in this one.
You take the field goal. It's a total momentum changer, and you have to show your defense that you truly believe in it. That move right here shows me as a defender.
Sensibly, it gives them the lead, and then to your point of like you couldn't stop them, the Eagles scored back-to-back touchdowns after that.
Absolutely. So that's when your players are like, oh, he doesn't really believe in us. And that's when the momentum swings. And I guarantee you probably the first or second play on offense, they probably took a shot deep because they understand that the defense is feeling deflated. We call that sudden change in the NFL. It's when a turnover happens and we play 9 snaps on defense and then we turn the ball over, but we have to stop them. It takes a lot to really dig in physically and mentally and lock in and stop teams. So they usually take a shot and they usually hit on it.
I love that. One last one for you. I'm seeing all of this. So the rookie corner for the Eagles, Quinyon Mitchell, he's been amazing. He shuts down Terry McLaurin last night. In the past couple of weeks, he's been great. Last night, the takes on Twitter were, we have it right here. There's comps to Darrelle Revis. What do you think about that?
No, nobody like Darrelle Revis. You know, Darrelle Revis was such a mechanic in what he does. I do know that Vic Fangio is putting him in position to make plays. He's getting a lot of safety help. But with Darrelle Revis, you could just say, move and shift the defense, and he's going to be one-on-one with Randy Moss, one of the best receivers in history, and not give up a catch. So, not yet. I think it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while.
This is Donte Whitner. We'll talk in the playoffs when the Chargers are on the way to the AFC Championship. Thank you so much. You can check him out on NBC Sports Bay Area.
All right. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. It's just an education, a nice lesson on a Friday. I could not be more grateful for the insights of Donte Whitner. Truly one of my favorite guests and people I get to talk to in the NFL. Speaking of, we're going to go from defense to offense here. I got to hang out with Rhamondre Stevenson this week. He's up in New England bracing for a big game this weekend where he wants to maybe score a touchdown as he has been. And these Patriots, don't sleep on them. They're on the up and up. All right, Patriots, winners 2 of the last 3. Nobody wants to face this Patriots squad. You've got the short week Rams coming off an AFC East loss. They remember that Pats logo beating them in the Super Bowl not long ago. I'm excited about where you guys are in the season, Rhamondre.
Yeah, me too. We just came off of a W. We were trying to figure out a way to stack them. So, yeah, I think it's a great week to do that.
I think so too. I can't wait. And hopefully you'll score another touchdown. Those have been coming easy your way. I'm sure it's not that easy. I want to talk to you about the laws of physics and gravity and math and science class and just Rhamondre's law of yak, because you are so tough to take down. How do you do that?
I think it's just, I try to get this mind state, probably I'll say at Oklahoma with DeMarco Murray, and he just instilled in me, you can't let the first person tackle you. So I think that's kind of what it is. And just not only the first person, but I try to make the second person miss as well.
You can't let the first person tackle you. It sounds easy. It's not easy to do. Let's say I'm on the field, me, and I just get to be you for one day. And I have to gain 1 yak yard, 2 defenders closing in. What is your one best piece of advice?
Pad level. You better be lower than those 2 coming at you. I'll say that's pretty much 80% of the battle.
Okay. I'm 5 feet tall, so I feel like maybe I should change my career. Maybe I could do that. And we're talking about this because incredibly 93% of your yards come after contact. That is the highest percentage in the league. Do you know that?
I had no clue. I actually had no clue.
When I saw you in August, we sat down and you talked to me about Stephen Ridley, and you said he's one of the former Patriot running backs that you like to watch. Do you know that you're just a few yards to pass him on the Patriots all-time rush list?
I didn't know how close I was, but that's one of my goals to do up here, be the Pats all-time leading rusher. So that's a good step.
You are 41 yards to pass Ridley. That would make you 11th on that all-time rush list with so many great RBs. And you are 141 away from passing LeGarrette Blount for 10th on the all-time list.
Uh-oh, I'm catching them. I'm catching Big Bro.
I mean, maybe it happens against those Rams on a short week.
Yeah, I hope so. And if it does, I'm hit LeGarrette Blount the night of.
I want to talk about your quarterback because it's week 11 and only has a handful of starts, but you know him by now. You know him a little bit more than you did last time I saw you before the season even started. He seems like a really easy hang. Like he seems like a really easy guy to develop chemistry with. Is that true?
Yeah, it is very true. I think Kendrick Bourne said it in one of his interviews or something. He just has aura. And I think that's the best word to say. Like, it's just aura. He could, walk in a room and you feel him in there. And he's just a born leader. And yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited about what he's doing and, his future.
I'm reading a lot about and I'm hearing a lot about his development at quarterback, how seriously he's taking that, how much progress there's been. It's really incredible. As we both know, it's so important to the team. Even though it was just his 5th start, from that first game against Houston to last week, what is the one thing you were most impressed with as far as growth?
Just handling the huddle. I think that's kind of, a cliche thing to say, or probably like not really thought about as much, but just handling the huddle, I feel like that's a hard job to do. And I think just from the first game he's got in there to, last game, he's really, handling the huddle, being a leader and, getting us all on the same page.
You've been a huge part of that development and success. Your pass pro skills have been talked about for years, of course, back to college. What would you tell running backs in high school, in college even, who are like, I don't know, I don't like blocking, just get me the ball?
They're probably not going to get to the NFL. I think, coming out of Oklahoma, I had, some nice plays on the ground, running the ball, things like that. But, nowadays, every running back could run the ball. So you got to separate yourself by catching the ball at the backfield, I'll say, and, blocking.
Love that. Noted to all these young guys trying to make it in the league. You do it so well. It's so fun to watch. I heard that your quarterback at 22 addressed the offense for the first time last week after a practice he wasn't satisfied with. He said, Van Pelt, can I have the floor? Tell me that story. What did he say and what did it mean?
I think this is just, just the leader he's becoming, leader he is. So he just addressed the team. We didn't have the best day at practice that day. So it was just about practice on the practice field. That's where, that's where we get our reps in. That's where we get better. So it was just, we need to lock in on the practice field in shorter terms.
Why'd you listen to him? He's 22. He's a rookie. He addressed you guys, ate it up. Clearly it worked. Yeah,
it did work. Just to know he has that confidence to, he has that aura. That's what I'm talking about. He has that aura to just, everyone loves to follow him. Born leader in my eyes. And, he's doing a great job. But, that act of just addressing the team and, he's growing up quick. He might be 22, but I feel like he's growing up quick.
I think nobody wants to play you guys. That's what I think. The game plans are really smart, great coaching. You guys are all showing up. I'm seeing Max strain out there. They're running to the ball on defense. How did Mayo do this?
Another leader that we're behind 100%, I would say. He's done it at a very high level before, won Super Bowls, been on many great teams. So it's easy to follow him. So just when he says something, we, tend to do it. And, we're not going to give up on him. He's not going to give up on us. And we still go on the practice field every day and, work hard like we're 7-0, 8-0. Is
he an open door guy or not as much?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Just go in there and does he like text people? Is it more of a relationship than you might have expected from a head coach or just where it needs to be with some good in place boundaries?
I think it's just where it needs to be. You know, me and Mayo, we had a great relationship. So I used to, when he was a linebacker coach last year, I used to text him a little bit, stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit of that is still going on, but I think it's right where it needs to be. He's not, he's not too friendly. Like we know our place, we know his place. He's the head coach, and we're playing for him at the end of the day. So I think we all get it.
Good luck. You are the best. Thank you for the time. Get some rest.
All right, appreciate you, Kay.
Jerod Mayo squad looking good.
Yeah, he has those guys fighting. Just got some breaking news, by the way, that you're gonna like. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins is expected to play against the Chargers, Zach Taylor said, after missing the last 3 games with that quad injury.
About time for this guy then.
Oh boy, we're already getting there.
Little move for the weekend because of that. I'm going to open that in a second. That's amazing news. Amazing news. Who reported it? Not Mama Higgins?
It is from Ben Baby of ESPN.
That's upsetting. No disrespect to him. Yeah, like I want the takeover of mom insiders to put everybody on tilt. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's going to be. This offense is.
Well, but listen to what Donte said. He goes, they're going to take away Jamar. Okay, well then we need fucking T out there, and boom, here we go.
Yeah, it is a huge, especially against that defense. You're right. Huge game changer.
Donte is so smart. I just can't. It's like talking to you. He goes, do you remember what happened at the end of that game?
It's a little better than talking to me. Yeah.
4th and 16, and I'm like, what are you? Do you think I remember what happened on 4th and 16? Like, no, I don't remember what happened on 4th. But I feel like I'm in like a run of those like riveting college classes that you actually like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, his insight is awesome. And there's always, he's always got something to rile up Chiefs fans. You knew there was going to be something in there today. We talked about it before the show.
We wanted it to start with Thursday Night Football. Like he just roasted me on my Bengals right off the bat. Yeah. I like him because he'll give me shit in a big way.
Oh yeah. He's not afraid.
It's a good thing to balance out the sweetie pie Adam Lefko sweeties. He was talking to me yesterday, just go right for the knockout.
Yeah,
Tyson.
We need more of that. I'm gonna something we got to think about. Just get more of that. More people in here to give you shit.
I would love that. Yeah. Anybody who cares, let's go.
Let's go.
Rally.
I'll start working on more material too.
Okay. Yeah, I think you do a fine, swell job of that, to be honest. The only thing over under on a number of things I have in my fridge.
I'd say 3 items.
I have salsa, turkey chili, a grapefruit, and a sport coffee. That's it.
So 3? Is that it?
It's embarrassing. Let's do it. Okay, I guess I'm on. Let's do it. DF, yes! My favorite daily fantasy plays for week 11. Let's do it. Hammy and I put our heads together at quarterback. Man, we are into Justin Herbert. I think everybody is. Harbaugh's getting the best out of him. It's a big night. SoFi, Bengals. I think it'll be high scoring, even though the defense is the number 1 defense with the Chargers. Quarterback matchups are tough this week. I do like the saving series 14th at quarterback. The Bengals, as Donte Whitner said, defense not so great. We're going to pay up for Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't usually do that in this segment. He's 8,300. He'll set you back over on DFS for fantasy at DFS over on FanDuel, but he's 8th at running back. And I do think he outperforms this Jags defense. They've given up a ton of points, yards. They love pass catching quarterbacks. They're like, 'tis the season for fantasy points. And at receiver, Calvin Ridley is 26. That's crazy. He's $6,400 on FanDuel, and he's averaged 100 yards a game over the last 3 weeks. So the Vikings, they've allowed the 3rd most points to receivers this year. We love to see it. All right, it's my, this is an educational program. We bring you Hammer Time. Hammer! Last weekend, my friend, we got our first little taste of the Niners, what this offense might look like the rest of the way with Christian back in the mix. What jumped out to you when you looked at the tape this week?
So we didn't see the biggest impact in the running game yet. I want to focus on how it changed the passing game and how that operates, though, because it's different from last year. And a lot of that is because of the evolution of Purdy. You'll see here Kittle going in motion, identifies it as man coverage, but I want to spin around to the end zone view here because this is where you see the growth in Purdy. A 6-man box from the Bucs. The Niners only have 5 in protection because they're sending McCaffrey on a free release. That means the extra man is Purdy's guy. And he's so aware of it. As he takes the snap, he is drifting off the midline to his left to buy himself time. He spots Debo, all that space in the middle of the field, and he's just going to anticipate this, put this ball out in space, let Debo run to it for a huge third down conversion on 3rd and 5, and is able to avoid the hit in the process from that free rusher. And then later in the game, you're getting a post-wheel combo from Debo and Christian McCaffrey. And here, the Niners should have everything accounted for. The Bucs have a 5-man front. They have 6 in protection, but they make a mistake up front. You have 2 guys blocking the 3 technique. Trent Williams goes to his left. I don't know who's wrong here. I'm not going to say it's Trent. I'm not going to make that mistake. But there's the end result. There's a free man coming. And Brock has to react on the fly. He keeps his eyes downfield, though. He feels the pressure. And look at where McCaffrey is when he lets this ball go. Levante David's still 5 yards in front of him, but he knows with the single high safety, he can't get over, puts it in the perfect spot for Christian and catch it and run. And then we always hear, oh, it's easy to play quarterback for the Niners because everybody's always open. Well, it's not always the case, as we know. You see it here. Everybody's covered. But watch how Brock extends his play as he's done kind of all year. He points to Kittle. They're in lockstep. He's pointing to Kittle, hey, get to the left. I'm going to roll out to my left here. But I want you to watch. He has Vita Vea barreling down on him, and he doesn't rush this throw. He still flips his hips around, gets in position, and that's what allows him to put this in the perfect spot for George Kittle for the touchdown. This continued growth mentally, understanding the protections, understanding how to navigate being under pressure. That's why Brock is having an even better year, I think, than last year, and why this team is even more dangerous going into the playoffs.
He's not getting any MVP whispers at all, but if this continues and it's only going to get better with Christian healthier and more a big part of the offense, Brock, if they keep these wins coming, he'll get into that. He'll squeak into that conversation. Mark my words. Thanks, Hamilton. Have a great weekend. You're the best. You're the literal best. Thank you.